In Ghana, it's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
This is the Election Bureau. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Adjuatin Kramadom. Now, top of our stories this afternoon, Electoral Commission disqualifies Ghana Freedom Party from 2024 elections over illegalities but insists positions on the presidential ballot will remain unchanged.
Now that the presidential candidate nominee has been disqualified, the Commission would like to inform you that voting will proceed.
Also coming up in the bulletin.
Whenever the court speaks, it has a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected.
Attorney General Godfrey Abuadami warns against disregard of court rulings as the Apex Court overturns Alban Babin's declaration of 4 seats vacant in Parliament. We'll bring you a response from Alexander Penyomarking, who is expecting a total compliance to the court's judgment.
We expect our colleagues on the other side, including Mr. Speaker, to respect the outcome of this case so that we move on as a nation.
Still in the bulletin today on our special constituency report, we are in Tamale South asking the crucial question: does Haruna Idrisu face a significant threat after 5 consecutive terms in Parliament?
For the past years he has been in the Parliament House. He has always been visible to his people, and that is what the people like.
The people are not enthused or they are not happy with what they are seeing within the constituency with regards to the work of the MP.
And later, 2 months after the breakdown of the only ferry that serves several communities, residents of Pando Toko are appealing for an immediate repair of the ferry to prevent a potential disaster.
To plead to the government or any authority, those in charge of the fixing of the ferry, to do it as early as possible to avoid a future disaster.
Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in 30 minutes. Remember, the news is live across the globe on citinewsroom.com. Around the country, we're live on a number of affiliate stations. If you're in the Western region, tune into Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bono region, Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyang. Ashanti region, find us on Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, this is Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakope. In the Northern region, tune into Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In Upper East, we're on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast region, this is Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your company. This afternoon we begin in the courts, and the Supreme Court has ruled against Speaker of Parliament Alban Babin's decision to declare 4 parliamentary seats vacant, siding with a challenge brought by Majority Leader Alexander Penyomarking. Now, in Tuesday's decision, a 7-member panel led by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono ruled in a 5-2 majority favouring Penyomarking's position. Now, the Chief Justice announced that the court will provide a detailed explanation of its ruling at a later date. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfrey Abuadami has been speaking to journalists.
But the point I'm making is that whenever the court speaks, it has a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected. And I'm saying that it results in a degeneration of our society and a destruction of our democratic order for anybody at all to refuse to comply with order the Supreme Court. And I think that's non-negotiable. It's something that we must all respect. I have heard some statements by certain political actors to the effect that the case ought to be withdrawn and that there ought to be negotiation and all that. I'm quite surprised because indeed, firstly, I did not hear such expression of a willingness to negotiate a law or maybe such instruction to the speaker or direct suggestion to the speaker for negotiation and law when the speaker started embarking on these things. And I think that for me it's very important that the Supreme Court ruled upon this matter because it's something that had been occurring in this country. A tendency for it to occur really was there. A tendency for it to occur again was there. It's necessary, or it was necessary, that the Supreme Court came to this clear conclusion and determination of the matter. The meaning of Article 97 Clause 1, paragraphs G and H. And I think we must all respect it.
You heard the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboadame. Well, shortly after the court's ruling, Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Penyomaki, addressed the press. Let's hear from him.
It's a moment for all of us to rally around the choice we made in 1992, democracy. Democracy requires decency, and that is the path the MPP majority caucus took to ensure that we do right to the law. Nothing more except to say that we expect our colleagues on the other side, including Mr. Speaker, to respect the outcome of this case so that we move on as a nation. All we have is the peace of the country. All we have is our democracy. And in West Africa and in Africa as a whole, Ghana shines in the eyes of the people in terms of democracy. So this is another feat we have achieved, and we must celebrate it. It's not a matter of MPP against NDC.
Well, that's the Majority Leader, Alexander Penyomaki, and lead counsel for the plaintiff, Joe Gatti, also called on persons to respect the decisions of the court.
We expect every other Ghanaian to also respect the law. We don't all agree on what is said and what is done. There are several times that I've disagreed with what is said and what is done. But because of the respect for the rule of law, because of the respect for the Constitution, we just keep quiet and follow the law, hoping that if we don't agree, another opportunity will come that we'll be able to express ourselves. So what has happened today, we have not seen the reasons. We are happy because we came to court because we believed that the right thing was that the people had not by their action vacated their seats. So what has happened to that, we are happy about it. Tomorrow, the reasons will come out. And when the reasons come out, as lawyers, then we can look at the reasons and what the court has said, and then we can discuss it. In fact, the fact that the court has ruled in your favor does not mean that you agree with the reasons. You might decide that even the reasons some of the judges gave, you do not agree with it. Two of the judges talked about jurisdiction. We don't know what they said, so tomorrow we will know. And when we know, we will prepare to answer more questions in detail. But as was said by the leader, as far as I'm concerned, today democracy has won, constitutionalism has won.
And Babi has lost.
No, nobody has lost. So the 4 MPs have been reinstated.
So that's the lead counsel for the plaintiff, Joe Gatti, speaking there. Well, subsequently, the majority caucus in Parliament has released a statement on the court ruling, and I have been joined in studio by my colleague Caleb Kuda to run us through what the statement says. Caleb, what different thing is the majority saying from what their leader said in court today?
So, Ajua, they are extending an olive branch or leaf to the other side, and they are also calling on the speaker to make good what's the rule to adhere or abide by the ruling. Basically, I could take you through some of the lines. Point 3, for example, the Supreme Court's decision should not be seen as a victory for one side or a defeat for another. Rather, it represents a triumph for constitutional democracy and the rule of law, reinforces the principle that in a republic, every institution, no matter how exalted, must operate within the bounds of our constitution. And then to the colleagues on the other side, he says he extends a hand of friendship. Time has come for us to move beyond this episode. To the Right Honourable Speaker, he says that I reaffirm my utmost respect for your office and your distinguished service to our nation. Judicial interpretation of our constitution should strengthen, not weaken, the relationship between leadership and membership of the House. He goes on to say that he calls on members of Parliament to view it as a moment or an opportunity for renewal. And on point 6, he says, as we return to our legislative duties as soon as possible, let us remember that we are first and foremost servants of the people. So that's just a good highlight of what the statement says. Point 6 gives us an idea whether or not he's expecting to recall Parliament. If I'm to read that to our listeners, as we return to our legislative duties as soon as possible, let us remember that we are first and foremost servants of the people. It's, however, not clear how soon, whether or not there will be a recall.
Right. Thank you so much. That's my colleague Caleb could have taken us through that statement coming from the majority caucus in the House, reacting to the court ruling. Let's move away from the court now and bring you some election-related stories. We begin with the Electoral Commission, and it has disqualified Philip Kwabena, the Ghana Freedom Party's replacement presidential candidate for Ikuadonko. According to the Electoral Commission, Mr. Agyemang was disqualified due to an illegality found on his nomination forms, despite the party having been allowed to correct other irregularities. Well, to avoid unnecessary costs and save time, the Electoral Commission has decided to retain Ikuadonko's name on the ballot paper. Speaking at an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting, the EC chairperson Jean Mensah announced that printing houses have been instructed to continue printing the presidential ballots, which are now about 90% complete.
Inform you of the Commission's decision to maintain the presidential ballot as it is. As you may be aware, and I believe all of you have representatives in the printing houses, we are almost 90% complete with the printing of presidential ballots. And you're also aware that following the passing of Madam Ikuadonko, we requested the printing houses to cease printing until the law have taken its course. Now that the presidential candidate or the nominee has been disqualified, the Commission would like to inform you that the printing would proceed on the current ballot as is, in the interest of time and to save this country millions of cedis. And so our task here this morning is very simple. We are not here to change positions. We are not here to reballot. We are simply here to inform you that the Commission intends to notify our printing houses to proceed with the presidential ballot as is. It will proceed with the ballot that bears the name and the image of the name of the Ghana Freedom Party, their symbol, and the image of Madam Ikuadonko. And we believe that a lot of discussions and advertisements will go out to prevent the citizenry from voting for her.
You heard the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, speaking there. Meanwhile, the Ghana Freedom Party has welcomed the decision to disqualify them from this year's elections. National organizer of the party, Richard Boche, has been speaking to City News on what's next for the party.
We lost our flag bearer, late Madam Ikuadonko. We are aware to the family and the our party that no one is going to contest. And he alone and the General Secretary made arrangement to fill the form and submit it to the Electoral Commission. And unfortunately, it couldn't also go through. That's why we all met today for the IPAC, and the commissioner informed us no one is going to contest. He has been disqualified for the GFP, Ghana Freedom Party.
So generally, the way forward is that you are going to put yourself together and then go to Congress and elect someone to represent
After
you.
we finish the funeral, we do that.
When is the funeral and what is the arrangement?
The funeral is not yet, the date is not yet set. So after this IPAC, we are all going to make arrangements. We are all going for a meeting.
You heard the national organizer of the Ghana Freedom Party, Richard Boche, speaking to my colleague Fred Duho. We'll stay on elections, and as the race for the Tamale South parliamentary seat is intensifying, 4 additional candidates are preparing to challenge the long-serving incumbent Haruna Idrisu. After 20 years in parliament, the former minority leader is seeking his 6th consecutive term to represent the constituency. Our Northern Regional correspondent Shawana Yusuf explores the history of the Tamale South constituency and the dynamics shaping this highly competitive race.
The Tamale South constituency has been a pivotal political stronghold in northern Ghana, consistently backing the National Democratic Congress (NDC) over the past 2 decades. The constituency is bordered by Tamale Central to the north, Tamale North to the northeast, Tolong to the west, and Central Gunja to the south. Data from Channel 1 TV Research Unit reveals that since 2004, the NDC has maintained control of the Tamale South seat, often capturing the majority vote. This year, 5 candidates are contending for the seat. The incumbent Haruna Idrisu of the NDC, Hussein Musa of the NPP, Kasim Abdul Jalulu of the CPP, Salisu Imoru Nabila of the PNC, and independent candidate Hashimiyu Yahya. Haruna Idrisu has held the seat since 2004, with the governing New Patriotic Party frequently trailing in second place. However, the NPP's vote share has remained below 30% in every election since 2004. The deputy organizer of the NDC in Tamale South, Husseini Abdul Latif, expressed confidence that Haruna Idrisu will retain the seat, stating that he remains unbeatable.
You know, if you're an MP, you should be visible to the people. And I'm telling you, for the past years he has been in the Parliament House, he has always been visible to these people. And that is what the people like. And come to talk about women's empowerment, support for women. He does it. He does, and he's always with the people.
Meanwhile, Abu Mohammed, the secretary to the NPP parliamentary candidate, is optimistic that Hussein Musa of the NPP will emerge victorious on December 7.
The people are not enthused, or they are not happy with what they are seeing within the constituency with regards to the work of the MP. So I am of the strongest conviction that if we go for election 2024, December 7, Tamale South people will vote for my candidate rather than the current MP.
Independent candidate Yahya Hashimiyu, a former NDC member, shared with Channel 1 TV that he believes the incumbent MP relies on the party's name rather than his achievement.
The issue is not about the current MP, it's about NDC. The people of Tamale South love NDC and not the MP. The MP is riding on the back of NDC, not himself as a person. It's because of NDC. If they put a different person, for myself, if I were put on the ticket of NDC, I would have won the seat for NDC massively.
Efforts to reach the PNC and CPP candidates were unsuccessful as calls made to them were unfruitful. Over 90,000 registered voters in Tamale South are expected to head to the polls on December 7 to select their next representative in Parliament. Some Tamale South constituents shared their views on the upcoming contest, reflecting a range of opinions about the potential outcome of the election.
You come to an area and then get the leaders. There are some particular people, let's take that Lamashegu for instance. There are some people who will talk that people will hear. That is the younger generation here. So when he comes, what he does best is to buy motorbike or motor Kia for that particular person who will talk and others will listen. But as we speak, those they have been convincing to vote for the MP. This time around, it's the same people who have called who are saying that no, this time around they are not going to listen to what the people are telling him.
Our current MP has been for the MP for about 20 years. So when he is not working for the constituency, his work is not corresponding to the years that he has been in the
Here in the Tamale South constituency of the Northern Region, there are 5 candidates vying to represent the people in Parliament come December 7th. But the choice lies with the constituents who would be making a choice come December 7th to choose a representative in Parliament.
Well, you had our Northern Regional correspondent Shawana Yusuf with that report. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News. When we return, we hit the campaign trail and keep you updated on what the various parties are up to and other stories. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV. Telling your story, empowering change.
Ago Omambapa, the time to exercise your civic duty is here again. This year, we the good people of Ghana have another opportunity to elect our leaders on December 7th. This is a very important national exercise and you have the civic duty to make that decision for Ghana. Don't be indifferent because your vote counts. Vote on issues. Don't sell your vote. Reject violent candidates and expose acts that undermine the integrity of the elections. Don't attempt to snatch a ballot box or deface political party posters. The law will deal with you. December 7, 2024 is election day. Pick up your voter's ID card. Get to your polling station. Follow the voting process. Make that bold decision for Ghana. Vote peacefully. Ghana must win. Vote on December 7. It's your civic duty.
Civic duty required of you as a Ghanaian. So get involved and vote.
A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Welcome back to the bulletin. Let's hit the campaign trail now. And the regent of Okrofum, Nana Enim Ejikum II, has praised the government for making the town a district. This, he says, has led to the development of the community. He said this during a stakeholder engagement with the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Nana Enim Ejikum II, however, urged Dr. Bawumia to tackle the roads challenges in their area when elected.
We didn't have a market initially, but one is now under construction. The government is also working on job creation here. Please extend our regards to him. However, our roads need attention, and I hope you will address that if you win the election.
You heard the regent of Ukrofum, Nana Enim Ejikum II. Well, in response, Dr. Bawumia promised to fix the poor road network in the constituency if elected president.
Number one, how
I know one of your main concerns is the condition of your roads. The NPP parliamentary candidate has been vocal about the poor state of roads here. I ask you to trust me with your vote, and I assure you I will fix all the roads to earn your support for re-election.
NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia there. Let's go to the camp of the NDC, and flag bearer of the party John Dramani Mahama has pledged to hold a national dialogue on the education sector if elected, aiming to address pressing issues within the system. He pointed to concerns such as food shortages, restrictions on free speech among school heads, and a lack of essential resources in areas like Amenfi as critical challenges requiring urgent attention. Speaking during a meeting meeting with the clergy in Kumasi on Monday, John Mahama emphasized that the best approach to resolving these issues is through open dialogue with key stakeholders involved in the education policy implementation.
Reforms are war education. If you say Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, they work on the curriculum. Na makase yaba national education dialogue. And you may be brave to sing your education.
We will hold a national education dialogue if we win the polls. There are lots of challenges, including lack of textbooks, furniture, and infrastructure. These are fundamentals that need to be done. As you are aware, our education sector is at crossroads, and the best way to address these challenges in the sector is through dialogue with key stakeholders who are the center of the implementation of policies in the education sector.
Ghana, table, cement blocks. Until say because that's the fundamental of education. When to be a year, a bit coping baby or becobia. Until see a send a basic education, I'm say a year near free home. The bit me a boy not also a year.
You heard NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama. A reminder to you to follow us using the hashtag GhanaPost2024, hashtag Election Bureau, and hashtag Citi Verify for all your election-related stories. Let's now move on to some other stories now. Travelers relying on the Pando Toko ferry remain stranded, with some risking their lives by crossing the Volta Lake in overcrowded canoes carrying up to 120 people. Now, this situation has arisen due to an ongoing delay in ferry repairs, which has left the community without a safe transport option for weeks. Now, in desperation, some passengers have resorted to using canoes despite serious safety risk, as these vessels are overcrowded and lack essential safety measures. Assembly member for the Pando Toko electoral area, Joshua Amenyogbe, has been speaking to City News.
To be frank, for the past 2 months, life without a panto is so risky. People have to travel across the river in a canoe or in a fishing boat without life jacket. The boat owners also take the advantage of it to load passengers together with animals. Sometimes they find it very difficult to find a place to sit. And this is very dangerous, especially when it blows, when wind blows on the river. But as I'm talking to you now, nothing has been done about it. And the people are still going through the difficulty to travel to the eastern region. As Assembly member, I just want to add to what the Channel 1 TV has done for us to plead to the government or any authority, those in charge of the fixing of the ferry, to do it as early as possible to avoid a future disaster.
He had the Assembly member for the Pando Toko electoral area, Joshua Amenyogbe. Now, on the first day of the indefinite strike by Ghana Highway Authority workers, the City News visit to the authority's headquarters showed that most offices were closed, with only a few employees at the security post to safeguard the property. Now, speaking anonymously, security personnel confirmed they had been turning away visitors and clients because of the strike. One client, a contractor, spoke to City News after being denied entry, sharing his frustration over the disruption caused by the strike.
They have gone on strike, so I don't know anything about it. So I just confused because I'm coming to chase my documents there. Yesterday I came and they told me that I should come today and sign out. So when I came, they tell me they are on strike. In fact, I don't know what to do.
Can you get that time to wait, or you call on them to resume work so that you can also have your documents released?
We'll call on them to resume so that we can able to get our documents. So whatever causes the strike, governments will look at it and then solve it amicable. Then our document will go fast because we are in election year. So we are all want our document to go to the payment site so that we're able to pay the bankers so that we can get another money to do our work. That's why we are chasing our document.
You heard a contractor who visited the Ghana Highway Authority speaking to City News. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Roads and Highways has assured the public that the ongoing strike by the workers will not disrupt any active road projects across the country. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, the ministry's public relations officer, Nasser Ahmed Yate, acknowledged the potential concerns arising from this strike, but emphasized that measures have been implemented to ensure projects continue without interruption.
I would just want to assure you, your listeners and Ghanaians as a whole, that all road projects will go on uninterrupted. The ministry don't expect to see any road project halting. These are road projects being undertaken by contractors. In most cases, they are being supervised by consultants. They are under strict contracts, and we don't expect any road project to halt. So rest assured that the road projects will go on uninterrupted.
You had the public relations officer of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Nasser Ahmed Yate. And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. For more stories, please log on to citinewsroom.com. You can also follow us using the hashtag CityVerify, hashtag GhanaPost2024, and hashtag Election Bureau for all your election-related stories. My name is Ajuatin Krama. Many thanks for listening.
City